And welcome back into CBS Sports HQ. We are here in Tampa getting ready for Super Bowl 55. Guys, we made it to Super Bowl week. And it is going to be a battle between these two great quarterbacks, perhaps one of the greatest matchups we've seen between quarterbacks in NFL history. All right, I'm Amanda Gare with you here on set in Tampa, and I'm very excited to welcome in Jay Feelys. Spent 14 seasons in the NFL. He will be on the sideline. Of course, made a successful jump into broadcasting. Jay, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it, man. I can't wait to be home in Tampa. I went to high school about a mile from the stadium where the Super Bowl week played, so pretty cool week for me. And signing day coming up on Wednesday, college football, my son will be signing, so it's a big week for the Feelys.
Oh, this is a huge week for you guys. All right, you mentioned you went to high school here, not too far from the stadium. And that's where I want to start with you because I'd never been to Tampa before this. Every house has a Bucs flag on it. Every boat does. I've never seen number 12 so much in my life. So just for this fan base to have the Super Bowl here, how much do you think it means for them?
Well, it's certainly changed a little bit since I was in high school because nobody had Buccaneers hats and flags and everything when I was in high school. And just to see Tampa, I mean, you think about the year in sports that they've had with the Lightning and the Rays and now the Buccaneers, and you're hosting the Super Bowl and the Bucs are in it, and Tom Brady came to town, and this has been a pretty special year for Tampa, and it would be the culmination of that if they could win the Super Bowl and get Tampa's second Super Bowl victory and do it in Tampa.
You know Tom well. You guys went to college together. I've been watching a lot of old interviews. You talking about on the golf course with him and everything like that. Over his 43 years of life, I feel like we keep getting surprised at his success and that he's here. He made it back to the Super Bowl, first year with the new team. Are you surprised, knowing what you know about Tom Brady, that he's at this point again?
I learned long ago to stop being surprised by Tom Brady and his successes. He's the most competitive guy I've ever been around. When you think about the fact that he's won 3 Super Bowls in his first 4 years, and somehow he was able to not allow that to make him complacent. Somehow he was able to keep that chip on his shoulder. He was able to continue to drive and make himself better and reinvent himself. And then he wins 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots, and he still has the desire to go somewhere else and to start over again with a new coaching staff, a new players, a new franchise, and to do it again and to bring this team back to the Super Bowl again. It's just staggering. And, that he has the desire to continue every day to work out and to work with Alex 2 hours a day on his body and to do all those things that help him to be successful and to continue to study. But I learned a long time ago that he's special. That's what makes him the greatest of all time. It's not necessarily what he does on the field, but it's what he does leading up to that and all the efforts that he puts in to make himself the best. And he's been able to take this franchise and bring accountability and bring a championship mindset to it.
And they're excited. We had one of our colleagues try out the TB12 diet, and he's only about a week in, and I think he hates his life. So shout out to Tom Brady for being able to do that.
I haven't done that. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Have you tried it? Are you going to try it? Would you do it?
No, I'm not doing that. No avocado ice cream. I'll do the workouts, but I'm not doing the diet.
Yeah, no. We'll leave the kale smoothies for somebody else. Jay, I want to talk about the season gearing up to the Super Bowl because you were in the NFL for 14 seasons. You know what that's like. You've been on the sidelines. You've been to Super Bowls. You know what that's like. It has been a weird season with the pandemic. So what do you think, how different is this Super Bowl going to be? What do you think we can expect?
I think there's obviously some negatives and just the fact that we've gotten to this point, the NFL and the NFL Players Association and all the players and coaches deserve a tremendous amount of credit. At the beginning of the season, I didn't think there was any way we were going to get through a season without missing weeks, without being postponed. And yet here we are. We got every game in. We've gotten to the Super Bowl, and Roger Goodell and DeMaurice Smith and everybody involved in all the different teams and what they've done deserves a ton of credit. But from a player's perspective, it probably helps a little bit because you don't have all the hoopla. It's going to be very much like it has been every week, where normally this week is so much different than anything you've ever been through before. And last year, Kansas City went through it, and Tom Brady's been through it, but so many players on Tampa, they haven't been through it. So I think it helps the Buccaneers because it allows them to kind of make it like a normal week, and they don't have to worry about family and friends and everybody coming into town and how much time you spend with them and trying to get your body ready and prepare for a game and all the media obligations. It's different this year, and they're going to do everything on Zoom, and you can't be with anybody because of COVID. And so it really allows you just to focus on the game.
Jay, I want to talk about this quarterback matchup. I don't think as fans we could be gifted a greater gift than watching these two guys go up against one another in the Super Bowl. Where would you rank this matchup between quarterbacks among all of the other matchups in the history of the Super Bowl between quarterbacks?
Well, I think back to some of those great matchups, and probably the one that sticks out to me when I was young was Dan Marino and Joe Montana. And you kind of think about those when you have two all-time greats going up against each other. And Tom Brady certainly is the greatest of all time. And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to continue to work his way. If he stays healthy, there's no reason to think he won't become and get into that conversation. And it's just special. And you have a guy who has made himself the greatest of all time through sheer effort and determination and making himself better every day. And then you got a guy in Patrick Mahomes that's probably more talented than anybody who's ever played the position. His ability to throw the ball, his ability to play off schedule, his ability to run and do all these different things. And then you combine his mental acumen and how smart he is and his recall that he has that's just tremendous. And so you have this matchup. You have the greatest of all time versus the future, and who's going to win. And it's just spectacular. As a fan, I just want to sit back and watch it. It's going to be special.
You're going to get to. You're going to be right there on the sideline. We can't wait to watch your reports. All right, so you mentioned Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. Now, before we did this interview, we put out on social media that we were going to be talking to you, and we had quite a few questions from viewers wanting to put in their own questions. So one of them is, Tom Brady is the GOAT of quarterbacks. Besides yourself, who is the GOAT of kickers?
Well, it's Adam Vinatieri. Especially because he's done in those big moments. And you talk about the Super Bowl, he's got 3 game-winning kicks in the Super Bowl. And, he kind of helped to transform the position. And then I think as you go through, Justin Tucker has a chance to overtake Adam Vinatieri. His percentage is certainly better. And he's been clutch in those big moments as well and was so in their Super Bowl win. And, so Adam Vinatieri right now, and he'll get into the Hall of Fame, and he'll be the second kicker kicker to get into the Hall of Fame after Morton Anderson, Jan Stenerud as well. But Adam Vinatieri, I think, I would consider the greatest of all time. And Justin Tucker certainly has that chance to overtake him.
All right, so that's the greatest of all time. Let's talk about right now. This is another question from social media because there's some big-name kickers. There's social media favorites. If you had to pick between Younghoe and Rodrigo Blankenship, which one are you going with? I'm partial to the glasses, but what about you?
The rec specs are kind of cool, and they're a little different. And the fact that he's pretty comfortable saying, like, I like to do Legos and I like to do all this kind of stuff. He's different. And Younghoe is he's a great story. I kind of like his story because it's a little bit more like mine, where he went and he got cut and he had to find a way to not allow failure to destroy him, and then he had an unbelievable year this year with Atlanta. So, I'm partial to that because I went through that. I didn't get drafted in the NFL right away. I spent 2 years out. I was down in Tampa working as a financial advisor until I finally got brought into training camp. And I go into training camp and there's another young guy, Bruce Arians. It's his son, Jake Arians. And he and I battled it out in training camp and ended up finally winning a job and getting a kick in the NFL. And so for me, every day was just, it was a joy and a benefit. I just kind of looked at it like a blessing, and I was going to take advantage of every minute, every second I had and really enjoy it. And I did that for 14 years.
Jay, before I let you go, we got to get a prediction of sorts from you for this game. Chiefs, Bucks, what do you anticipate happening?
Well, we're in the game. We're not supposed to pick, who's going to win or not. I think this game comes down to Todd Bowles and Tampa's defense against Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid and that Chiefs offense. And, Todd Bowles understands I have to find a way to slow down Tyreek Hill, and I have to find a way to double Kelsey. And if you can do that, you give yourself a chance to win. And you look at the first matchup, and Tyreek Hill ran wild in that first quarter, over 200 yards receiving in that first quarter. And so it's a tall test. And I think they understand that Tampa's got to score a lot of points. I think they have to score more than 28 points to win this game. And, it'll be fascinating to see that the Chiefs, no matter how many points they get behind, they're never out of it because they can score so fast. They can put up points on you so quickly. And you've seen it the last couple postseasons. They get behind, it doesn't matter. They don't lose confidence. They're able to come back. And so it's going to be a game. Every game that Tom Brady's played in the Super Bowl has been a one-score game, and I don't expect anything different.
Yeah, what's crazy is if he wins, he will have more Super Bowl wins than any franchise in NFL history, and that is just mind-boggling.
It's just ridiculous.
Jay Feely,
right.
Be safe getting down here to it's nuts. Be safe getting down here to Tampa. We're going to bring the warmer weather for you and enjoy the game.
Can't wait. All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Amanda.
And by the way, of course, we're going to be here in Tampa all week on CBS Sports HQ, and that game you can catch on Sunday, the big one, the Super Bowl on CBS.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.